I know what you're saying. It looks like the very same as yesterday. But luckily another customer rang today, so I've got another drive, and this time 26 kilometers. So more testing is on the way. Excited. We got 30 degrees in the battery already, but the car was turned on all day long. I activated Sentry mode this morning on purpose, at home, you know, not going anywhere, just at home. I was trying to trigger the update, the new one, 12.10, to see the traffic lights and stop signs and garbage bins, you know. I'm just after the garbage bins actually, nothing else. And I thought if the car stays awake, we can download the update in the afternoon, but it didn't come through. There's nothing. So this didn't work. Because, you know, when the car sleeps overnight, how does it get an update then? You know, it's not talking to the server anymore, to the mothership. It's just sleeping. And the last time it was awake as well overnight, and the next morning I had the update. So I thought this is not this is how it works, but no, it's not. Show tire pressure. Uh, 39.40. Yeah, give it a little bit more, maybe to 42, 43 psi. I don't want to go on 45. They were on 45 when I got the car, and it was really hard. The driving comfort was, yeah, it was rough. Well, I think I didn't even say hello. So, hello, welcome back to another episode of Unplugged TV Australia here. Sunny hot again. Sunny hot it was today. About 29, 30 degrees. End of April now. Far too warm, really. But that's just what it is, you know. If I say sunny hot Australia, it is sunny hot. Well, and here the car drives on the road without lane marking in the middle. There's only a very small line. This is still construction work here, but the car drives with 100 and not touching the steering wheel. Now I'll keep the steering wheel here in my hand. I don't trust this at all, really. You wouldn't be able to activate Autopilot here anymore, but if you come from a normal road with lane marking, it continues to drive on in these road conditions just fine. But I still don't trust it really 100% in these conditions. How does it see where my lane is, you know? I mean, it has two blue lines there. Well, that is impressive. The car drives under these conditions here. The sun is coming very low from one side, and there's almost no lane marking, and the car keeps itself centered here in this virtual lane ahead of us. That is just insane. This Mitsubishi overtook me. I'm not going down this path now. I've turned down the speed to 80 kilometers here on this curve. I'm not driving 100 here. There's 60 coming. I think the car will ignore that. I have driven this before. What is that? 60 kilometers. Now the car still wants to drive 80 here. So this is the wrong map data. Will do. Okay, I'm putting the car in neutral. Let it coast. Just to do some more testing here on the energy consumption then. 152 we have so far. Watt-hours per kilometer. But now this should go flat to 0. There's no car behind me, so it's ideal to coast. The good old PHEV times, huh? B0. Yeah, actually someone has asked me if I do miss B0. And I said, yes, I do miss it, but then I thought, do you really? I mean, B0 is a weird method to drive a car. It made sense in the PHEV because you had only limited range on the battery, on the EV, on the electric drivetrain, you know. So it made sense to let the car coast as much as possible. There we go. 999, 146, but now we are starving here. It goes up a hill. Back and drive. Yeah, that made sense, right? Because you could really extend the range by about 10-15%, even maybe 20 if you are really good in it. But in the electric vehicle now, here in the Tesla or in any other electric vehicle potentially, if you have 200 kilometers plus on range, it doesn't make sense anymore, really. It doesn't, unless you made a really bad planning for your trip and you're so low on juice, on battery, that you have to coast, you know, to make it to your next charge or destination or wherever you want to go. But apart from that, it just doesn't make sense anymore in these cars. You know, here 350 plus kilometers now. If I would save 30 kilometers by coasting this whole, if I use the battery all in total, and I would save about 30 kilometers, you can barely feel that. That's just not enough benefit to do that. You drive like Miss Daisy anymore, you know. Here again in neutral, let it roll down this hill here. I'm in neutral and I'm pressing the brake now to slow down the car, and there's no regen. There's no regen coming up when you brake the mechanical brake here. Nothing. See, I brake again, you can see the brake lights, but there's no regen. So as soon as you press the brakes in the Tesla, it brakes. It uses the friction brake. There's no additional charging in terms of regen or something happening at all. Nothing. Yeah, quite a few people think this is the case, but it's not. In the Tesla, not. Using the brake pedal does not regen anymore. It does not use the regen, the motor, the electric motor, to slow down the car. It just uses the friction brakes. It's just a normal standard, oh, here's 100. It just uses the normal standard brake to slow down your car then. But there's no regen, nothing. It looks like on the display, because when you take your foot off, there is obviously a regen happening, and then if you brake additionally, it looks like you're using regen, but it's not. If you put it in neutral and let the car coast, you will see there's no, the sun, huh? There's no additional regen power coming. So another myth busted. Yeah, what did you expect? It's another farm. Never been here before. Let's hope the road doesn't get worse. You know, sometimes you can't even get in with a Tesla anymore. I'm too scared to scratch something in the front spoiler, you know. I just leave the car outside and walk the couple of meters then to the house. Well, sometimes it's about 500 meters. Well, look at this beautiful garden. They've got grass. Yeah, they are next to the dam. They've got water, unlimited water supply. Oh yeah, once again I showed off the car, the Teslander, to these people here. They've never seen an electric car. They didn't know much about anything, you know, batteries and how to charge and stuff. So it's always good to spread the word. And they were impressed. Oh, so funny. what is normal for us, you know, they just getting big eyes and say, no, you're kidding, you are kidding, that can't be true. But yes, it is. It is true. I just realized every time you turn on the car, you have to engage the automatic high beams again. They are turning off. They are not saving to your profile. But I turned them on without light, but you could see the symbol. And now after restarting the car, it was off again. So I just turned them back on again. It's grayed out, and it doesn't use the high beams at the moment because it's not dark enough, I think. Yeah, well, these guys, they were a little bit older already, and I said, nah, this is too much for me with all the technology in there, with a touch screen and stuff, you know, software and streaming and stuff. And I can't fully understand this. It is overwhelming at the beginning, but for us tech guys, it is just heaven. This is so good that the car actually evolves, gets better, different. Yeah, just the automatic high beams, they fixed it. They fixed it. It's not 100% perfect, but I would say 90%. While before it was only like 40% working, and now it's on 90%. And with the next update, it may be 95%. And at some stage, it will be 100. And this is exactly one of the biggest advantages of a Tesla or electric vehicle, which gets over-the-air updates. It changes frequently. The car never gets bored, never. We're always looking forward to the next update. What is new? What has changed? What do we gain? What do we lose? What are the new bugs? You know, yeah, sometimes they break things, but you know, that is software. That's what happens. But usually they fix this overnight again. So this is a really exciting thing in these electric vehicles. But you need to get over-the-air updates, otherwise it's pointless to go back to your dealership and plug in somewhere, and maybe you have to pay for it for an update or so. This is all old stuff, old technology, old school, I would say. Over-the-air is what you need. Even if you hook it up at home to your Wi-Fi, that's fine. You're getting the updates overnight. But everything else, nah. You don't want this anymore. Nah. Turn on recirculation. Woo-hoo-hoo. It does even that. That's amazing. Turn off recirculation. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's what I like. Oh yeah, uses the high beams now. Here, watch this. Turn off high beams. Watch the symbol there. There's a light symbol and says unclear light command. So obviously, turn off front lights. Turn off lights. Dome lights. No, not the dome lights. Set dome light to auto. What? Set down by 2 auto? Setting climate control. Set dome light to auto. Yeah, cool. Oh yes, there were 2 cars coming far in the distance, and the high beams turned off. Now they are not turning on anymore. Well, it's not really dark, you know. It's not necessary, I guess. Cars coming, auto, high beams turned off straight away. You could barely see the cars coming around the corner and it turned off already. So this has improved a lot with the last update, a super lot. I really try every time after an update if they have fixed the auto high beams, and now they have. Amazing. They work really well now. turn on again. It's fairly bright here now. There's a car coming. It's all about this software, right? It's all about... Oh! I can engage Autopilot here on this road. I just told you on our way here that I cannot activate it anymore on these road conditions because you can barely see the middle line and there's no other lane marking here at all. But you can actually... Let's try this again. What? That is insane. Yeah, you can engage Autopilot. Not that I want to drive 100 here. You can barely see the line marking in the middle, and there's almost no light. Whoa. I tell you, this software getting better and better. Sounds like a fanboy, right? It's actually really interesting to see when the high beams turn on and when not. See, they are not turning on now because I think there's still enough light coming into the light sensor. But if once we turn here on this curve, it make it a little bit darker. There's a car far away in front of us. I'm not sure if he will be bothered. See, it turns on the high beams now, but there's a car in front of us, but it's far away. It's probably 400 or 500 meters away. Maybe not that far. I don't know. It'll be hard to tell. So there's a car coming towards us. Let's see. High beams are still on. Off. As soon as this car points the lights towards us, it turns off. Amazing. It reacts really, really early now, which it didn't do before at all. Yeah, well, if you have a Model 3, can you test this as well and let me know if this has improved since 12:05 now. Let's see, there's a car. Yeah, car is parking there. It sees the backlights, turns off the high beams. Bang, turns it back on after we pass the car. Let's see if there's a car coming. No, there's not. Oh, there are some coming. Off. It sees the lights and turns it off straight away. It's very reactive now, far more sensitive than before. A lot more sensitive. Turns it back on, but there are cars coming. Okay, fail. There are definitely cars coming. Didn't see that for some reason. Tell you it's 90%. It's 90%. And now watch this. Turns off. Turns back on. It usually turns off a couple of times. It has done it only once now. Well, I think it has something to do with the reflection of this sign up there. It doesn't do it anymore. Of course not. Once I turn on the camera, it doesn't do it anymore. I'll keep trying. Well, and we are back home. Stop making this noise. 8 kilowatt hours used. Twice as much as yesterday. 140 watt hours per kilometer. Including air condition on. Well guys, anyway, thank you so much. I come a little bit in the light here. You can see my face, you know. Thank you very much for coming with me tonight again. It was nice to see your happy faces in front of the screen, following me driving along through the Australian countryside. So I can only hope someone rings tomorrow again. I need to drive. Alright guys, until then, thank you for watching. This is Andy from Unplugged TV Australia, signing off. You stay charged and safe, and we will all see us again in the next video soon. Bye bye.